Welcome everybody. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. It is
Yeah.
9:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Tommy texted me that he was ready at 8 p.m. uh, so I took a shower. I was like, I'll be on at 9, and we'll do it then. Took a shower, came out, was ready to sit down and record, and then my mom was like, "Hey, I just broke my tooth in half." So I was like, what? So I had to deal with that, and she just glued the other half back in today, and she's gonna go to the dentist in the morning. Um, and that took a couple minutes, and then after that, I was like, okay, sat down and recorded the podcast, and then my AirPods just decided not to work or connect to anything. Fully charged, they just didn't want to connect to my phone or my laptop. So I disconnected both of them, factory reset the AirPods, reset my Mac, reset my phone. Nothing worked. And then magically they connected again as if nothing had happened. I didn't reset. I like it had been after I tried, after I reset, it just randomly worked again and they're working now. So, moral of the story, kids, is fucking technology is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
We
Um,
literally live in the future, and it is fucking whack as shit, dude.
it's insane. Yeah, you were saying this before we started the podcast, but it's 2020, and it's like I feel like every day I see like headlines of like an insane thing. Today, I remember I was watching TV and they were talking about like CRISPR. Do you know what CRISPR is?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the gene editing thing, and which is like fucking nuts, right? But then like literally probably 5 minutes later, I'm like, wow, I cannot get any Wi-Fi in this house for like 25 minutes. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like I feel like we're in some ways we're taking like 10 steps forward, but like another 20 backwards.
I know. It's literally, it's technology has gotten like more advanced, but also just like way more fucking irritating. Like
Mhm.
Disney Plus is like this is owned by Disney, right? It's like the biggest media corporation in the world, and it is fucking atrocious to try and use. I'm watching Clone
Why do
Wars
you
on
say
it
that?
because Tommy, I'm watching Clone Wars on it, and if I'm scrolling through like the homepage and I want to click Clone Wars and go right to the next episode, first of all, it will never do that. It will always replay the episode you just watched. And then
Mm.
there's no way to bring up an episode menu. You have to go back, then press the little I button, then go into the whole show overview, then scroll down to the season you want, and then select the episode. You literally can't just fucking bring up the menu and go season this, episode this, boom, like Netflix. It's literally like, oh, you fucking clicked the play button? Good luck, buddy, because now you have to load the entire fucking show, and it's the last episode, and then you have to go
Yeah.
back, fucking reload another fucking page. It's just, it's so fucking annoying.
Also, like, not even to mention the fact that Disney Plus still doesn't have like an application you could put on your desktop. You have to literally go online each time
Does
to a web
Netflix have
browser.
that?
Yeah, Netflix does. Hulu does
Oh.
too. And yeah, it's just like whack because then I'm like, oh, I have to like go onto Chrome and then type in this and then type in
And
that.
also, just like the quality dips fucking constantly for me on Disney Plus. I don't know
Hmm.
what it is, but it literally constantly goes to like shitty fucking resolution.
Yeah, Disney Plus is kind of what I just remember. Like I was
Like
using it the other day.
I actually like the way it looks. Like it's very simple, which I
Yeah, it
like.
looks slick and nice.
Very straightforward. It's just like the actual playing stuff is fucking ass.
Yeah, I was. Oh my god, you know what it was? I was with some friends a few weeks ago, and we were watching Finding Dory, and it took an absurdly long amount of time to figure out how to put on subtitles. It was like insane. And I was just like, this is just pointless. And somebody eventually figured it out. It was like you had to press this back button and then this button. It was like insane,
Yeah.
and it was just so much more complicated than it needs to be. But
Yeah.
with that being said, Mandalorian episode 5.
Oh yeah, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Uh,
So I will say I definitely did call it 2 episodes ago
what was
on
that?
exactly what they were gonna do. I said, well, I called what they were gonna do last episode, and I said, um, after we watched season 3, I said, what's gonna happen is that Mando's ship is gonna break down somewhere, and he's gonna have some kind of side adventure, and then do something that doesn't really mean much. It's just kind of filler episode, but there's like one thing in the episode that'll probably mean something at the end of the season. And then this episode after that, he'll meet Ahsoka Tano
Hmm.
and figure out all this shit. And it's literally exactly what happened.
And then Ahsoka Tano tells him to go find another fucking
Yeah,
Jedi.
she says, "Go fuck yourself. I'm not teaching this little piece of shit." Oh
Um,
yeah, Grogu. Sorry.
Grogu, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that the yeah, spoilers by the way, but you already knew that.
Yeah. Hold on, can I ask you, what do you think about the name Grogu?
I like it. I mean, is it any better or worse than Yoda? Really? You know,
No, Grogu just sounds like a
it sounds like a
sounds like
frog name to me.
it sounds like a frog name. It sounds like something that I would dip my chip into. If you know what I mean.
Chips and Grogu.
Yeah, chips and Grogu. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of normal. I was like,
Um,
huh, that's a choice, but I guess it's fine.
I like this episode though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely probably one of the best episodes so far.
Uh, yeah, and I think for people who probably watched all of Clone Wars and Rebels and all that shit and like followed Ahsoka through everything, and then they get to see where she's at now. That's probably really cool. One thing
Hmm.
I thought was a little, I thought her makeup was kind of weird. Do you like her? I don't know if it was like the shade of orange. Like some people are mad about her like hair tentacles. I don't really care, but like the for me the shade of orange looked weird.
I I think the thing was, I understand like she's supposed to look like her own species, but to me it really just looked like it was a person in a very weird getup. It looked like someone who you'd see at Comic Con that you could tell like
Yeah,
put a lot of effort into their work, but you could tell like, yeah, it's a costume. It didn't look like it was actually,
I
you
guess
know.
that's the TV budget, you know, because I've
Yeah,
noticed the other like blue people in Mandalorian look like less blue than the ones in the actual Star Wars movies. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I don't
Like
know. It wasn't
I
that
think
big
of
of a
like the
deal for me
alien.
though.
It's not a big deal, but it's like I think of the aliens and like the random ones you see in like Force Awakens or Solo or some shit, and they just look better. But I think that's just
Yeah,
what you get with a TV budget.
yeah,
Um,
it's probably true.
but yeah, so Baby Yoda got a name, and
Hmm.
apparently he's just like kind of had it the whole time, and he was like, I, I guess he survived Anakin's like slaughtering of all the children, right? Like because he was trained at the Jedi Temple and he survived.
Yeah, that Grogu was the one where Anakin goes, "No, I can't do
Yeah,
this one. He's too fucking cute."
or he was in the bathroom. Which I think that's a kind of a cool way to tie that in. Like I like that he's one of the younglings that Anakin didn't fucking kill. Um,
Hmm.
that's kind of cool. And I guess like he's actually been trained in the Force because like I kind of got the impression that he was doing it by accident all this time, or not by
Yeah,
accident,
I
but
got
by like instinct.
the impression I got from him was that he was just like somehow one way or another he was like a Yoda person. He was a baby Yoda, and they just like found him, and I guess like Yoda species. I just thought like Yoda species was like wiped out, so they're like, all right, let's just keep this one around, and then like
Mm-hmm.
he just kind of, as the baby Yoda he was just like did
Very
random Force things
powerful.
at random
Mm-hmm.
times. I never thought that he had any kind of like training, but it was pretty cool to like learn that.
It was cool. Um, and I think so. How much do you know about Ahsoka?
She was in Clone Wars, and she was Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah. Um, oh, well, I won't spoil anything though, because I know like the broad like story stuff, but like I haven't seen it in action yet.
And I know
But
that like she fights Darth Vader at one point. That's all I know.
oh yes. Um, and she has 2 white lightsabers, which are cool.
Does
That's
she have that
but
in the Clone Wars?
I think she gets it towards the end, or maybe in Rebels, because I know she shows up in that. But I know she has them because
Huh.
right now, where I am in the show, she has one green lightsaber.
Yeah.
But obviously, she gets more. But so like, I kind of notice like if what I like about the show is like if you know nothing about Ahsoka Tano, like you can't not watch this episode. Like it's perfectly understandable whether you know everything about her or not. It just enhances it if you do know,
Hmm.
which
Yeah,
I always
I knew
appreciate.
the name, so that's why when I heard Ahsoka Tano in the episodes prior, I was like, oh shit, that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. But I
Plus,
could
like
imagine like yeah,
people
I
who love
imagine some people
Ahsoka like
were.
love Ahsoka, and I can't really speak to like how well they pulled it off, but I think she was pretty good and she was cool. Like the opening fight scene
Yeah.
was
I
pretty
just
cool shit.
my only problem with this episode is that like it was kind of pointless.
I
Like
guess, yeah,
the
but she just
only
gave
thing
him
that
another
happened,
quest.
she basically the whole episode could be summed up by saying like he went there and learned that he needs to go somewhere else. And that's
Yeah.
what all that happened.
Well, you know what I've noticed about the show that's kind of funny is
What?
like the Mandalorian's kind of like he's kind of just like cruising through these like big events. It's like Ahsoka Tano's looking for Admiral Thrawn, who's like a big character from Rebels and like comics and stuff, and and like Bo Katan's looking for Moff Gideon and the Dark Saber, and Mandalorian just kind of passes through those
Yeah.
stories. Like, yeah, I just gotta get this baby somewhere. Like,
Does
well, like the story's about him,
anybody have a
but he's like,
diaper?
yeah, but he's like passing through these massive events, which is cool because like that's how it would be. I hate when you watch things and they're like, I don't know, it's like you find out, I don't know, this is like a made up example, but like, oh my god, it turns out Han Solo was actually there when Darth Vader died.
Yeah.
Like in Revenge of the Sith when they go see Chewbacca for literally no reason.
Oh yeah. Yeah, now that I think about it,
It's
that was a little bit weird.
like, oh yeah, hey Chewbacca. Like they just wanted to show Chewbacca. So
Hmm.
I do appreciate that it's like it makes sense that he's like passing through these things because they're happening. Um and I thought it was a cool episode, but again, it's just like more Mandalorian, really. It's not.
Yeah, it's just like not much is really happening plot wise. I mean, I guess there's a plot, but like just not much is happening. It's he just
Well, it's
goes
because
somewhere
it
and then
kind of
learns he
feels.
needs to go somewhere else, and like that's all the show is.
Oh yeah,
That's kind of all the show has been in the past 5 episodes.
that's the thing. Is like it starts to feel pretty formulaic, and I like the show. Don't get me wrong, but like every episode is really like Mando goes to a planet or crashes on a planet. He meets a person. The person gives them something to do, and then he finds out a bit of information at the end, and then he leaves.
Yeah,
In
I
this
that's what
Ahsoka, she gives him another piece of information.
I feel like Mandalorian, or at least the Mandalorian storyline, would be like so much cooler as a video game than a TV show. Because like as a video game, it'd be so dope just to like go to these random places and then like battle these random
Yeah,
things, even
I
if it
thought
doesn't
that
mean
with
much for the actual story. But like it'd be so dope. But like as a TV show, it's not much
I
that's
thought that
actually
with
happening.
Solo. Like I imagine like doing like smuggling stuff and like having big blaster fights in space in a video game would be so lit. Like
Yeah,
like Uncharted, but like in space. I feel like that'd be so fun.
Starfield. I hope that's
Yeah,
gonna
but
be.
that's a Bethesda game. It's definitely not gonna feel like that.
Yeah, you're right.
It's gonna be like,
Do you
why,
think?
hello, welcome to my shop.
Yeah. Welcome to my space shop. Can I get you anything? Whoa!
Hey,
Didn't mean to
easy.
upset you. Yeah, so literally. Uh, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, definitely, probably my favorite episode of the season, just because like cool shit was happening. The battle
I
was
agree.
cool, you
I
know.
agree.
Ahsoka was cool.
Also the scene in the beginning where like Ahsoka like turned on her lightsabers, killed a guy, and then just vanished, and then like
Hmm.
would reappear. That was really cool.
Yeah, and the lightsabers, you could that like cued you in that she was back. Like, it was cool. I have a question, Tommy. If you
Yeah.
were a
Oh,
Jedi, What color lightsaber would you want?
Ooh, that's a
So
good
there's
question.
green, blue, yellow, white, and purple that are canon. To my knowledge, I'm sure there's more.
Um,
Or red if you're a Sith, I guess.
probably probably a white lightsaber. I just feel like that looks the coolest.
Mm-hmm.
Like green and blue are a little bit too basic. Purple is like I don't know if I could be a purple guy. And yellow is just like I feel it's just gonna hurt my eyes the entire time. Um,
Wouldn't they all
it's
hurt
like
your eyes? They're like beams of light. I don't think it
yeah,
matters what color it is.
I guess you're right, but I don't know. I just feel like white would be the coolest. Like imagine like walking around and they're like, "Oh, that's to do with the white lightsaber." I'm like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of dope. What about you?
I think just like green. Green's so cool and classic. I just
Yeah,
love the
that's
way
the
it looks.
Gryffindor. That's the Gryffindor saber. You are Gryffindor.
It's true. But I mean, the Hufflepuff saber would definitely be like yellow. So
Yeah,
you're
yellow or
going off
purple.
brand. Yeah. I like the yellow though. It looks. We only saw like a tiny little bit of it at the end of Rise of Skywalker, but I thought it looked cool.
It was at the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, because she built her new lightsaber and she ignites it at the
Oh,
end.
and it was yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. You know, I was thinking, do you think they're gonna make a like very big, ambitious Star Wars video game? Like, I know Jedi Fallen Order came out, but like a really like cool one.
I think so. Yeah, because Jedi Fallen Order was pretty successful. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about. Like, so she says like, "Oh, put Grogu on this pedestal, and like some Jedi will like answer your call to train him or
Yeah,
something." Who do you think that is?
might be Obi-Wan.
Well, Obi-Wan's dead.
Oh, he's dead. Oh wait, yeah. When does this take place? I was actually wondering that.
It takes place after Return of the Jedi.
After? Oh shit!
That's why they're
I
like, "Oh, the
didn't know
Empire
that.
fell, but all these fuckers are still around."
I thought it was after um,
Revenge of the
New
Sith.
Hope. After New Hope, but before Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's after Return of the Jedi.
Is it like confirmed? It's after Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I have no fucking clue.
Because it's got to
Maybe
be.
Luke.
It could be
Could be Luke.
Luke.
That'd be
Obviously, it
kind of
wouldn't be
dope.
played by Mark Hamill though.
Imagine big, chunky Mark Hamill comes in.
He's like, yeah, it's like I know it's only been 2 years since the second Death Star blew up, but I really aged. um,
Believe me, I am stressed.
I think it could be Luke, or I think it could be the main character from the video game Jedi Fallen Order, Cal Kestis, because he's still alive at the end of the game,
Oh,
and
cool.
he's like kind of I don't know if he's like technically a Jedi or whatever, but I think that'd be cool. Um,
That
if
would be
it's
very
Luke though,
cool.
they'd have to cast a young actor for him, which they could.
It honestly could just be a random Jedi we've never heard of. Or, you know what? It might just be no Jedi. That'd be
Mace
very
Windu, maybe
Mandalore.
Mace Windu's alive.
Snoke.
I do
Um,
think Star Wars is gonna like
what if it's like Kylo Ren or something? That'd actually be kind of insane.
if it was
If it was
wouldn't he be like three? He'd be like two.
maybe it would be kind of dope if 3-year-old Kylo Ren pulls up.
I think Star Wars is gonna start filling in those gaps between the originals and the sequels.
Yeah.
Because I think, obviously public perception around the sequels is not great. And I think because like Clone Wars enhanced how people view the prequels like so much. Like people who like love the Clone Wars like have gone back and been like enjoy the prequels more because of it. So I think if they could pull off something similar, with that and like
Yeah. No, I could see that. Maybe Mandalorian does the job. I don't see it doing the job now, but like I could
but it doesn't have
see
to
a
be the only
future for
one,
it.
I
Yeah, I imagine there's gonna be some other
mean, I would
stuff.
think like I think like John Boyega's like done with Star Wars, but if they wanted to do like a Finn solo series between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, like that could be really cool.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's about it. I mean, more Mandalorian. I say Chad because it was fun.
Yeah, this is probably the best episode of the season. So I'd say Chad.
All right. You want to talk about Avatar now, or do you want to just talk?
Um,
By the way,
let's.
we're talking about Avatar Book 2.
Yeah, we're talking about Avatar Book 2 this episode. Um, I don't care. We were talking about a little bit about Korra. I'll mention that before. And if we go on something, we'll do it. How many minutes are we in so far? Like 15 or so?
You always ask this. Like, I set a freaking timer. Probably like 20 minutes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I finished watching Korra finally. I started watching like probably around
Oh, my cat, hold on.
I'll
Actually, you
talk
go.
to you, honey. Yeah. So I started watching Korra like probably around like May, June-ish, and I just finished it up and it's like almost December. I've got on like weird breaks. I like finished the first season in like 2 days, and then I took a while to start the second season, and it's basically been that. And then
Real
I
page
finished.
turner, obviously.
Yeah, and
Couldn't wait.
I was watching the third season, and then I stopped watching it, and then I told myself, oh, you know what? I'll rewatch it because I was watching it on like a website that was like bad quality. Then it came out on Netflix. I'm like, okay, I'll just rewatch it with like good quality. I never did it. I rewatched the first season, but I couldn't get through the second one. um, but then, yeah, so I started watching the fourth season the other day, finished it up, and it's not Avatar, but it's still Korra. It's okay. It's not great, but it's all right. I think that my biggest gripe with it, and this guy explained this in a video called it's called The Legend of Korra's Garbage, and here's why. And I don't necessarily agree that it's a garbage thing, and I don't agree with a lot of the points he brings up. But one of the points he does bring up, I had thought of, and like when he finally verbalized it, I was like, yes, that's it. So Avatar, the difference between Avatar and Korra is that Avatar is like structured like a Saturday morning cartoon where each episode has its own plot, and there's like a plot that begins and ends with each episode. So
Hmm.
like there's a happy ending at each episode of Avatar, but with Korra, the plot revolves around one singular season. So you can go like one episode and like it ends on a cliffhanger or something, and there's not really like these plots that drive themselves within each episode in Korra. And the thing about Avatar is that it's like based on the war at hand, and like Aang learning all the elements. So it can function as like this Saturday morning cartoon with a lot of like smaller plots within each episode. But
Yeah,
Korra can't do that because like it just focuses too much on
the overarching
like
story.
the overarching story, and it starts to like take away from what made Avatar great, which was that like the characters were so cool and there were so many like developments within the world. You got to learn a lot about the world, whereas Korra, there's just not as much with that because it focuses too much on
Right.
like the plot. But yeah, that's my tangent.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the show, but I find myself like, I don't know. I find myself like curious about it because how do I like go about saying this, because we've talked about this so fucking much lately. But like people are just like especially in like big fan bases, they're just so not receptive to like anything new. So I find myself
Yeah.
defending something I've never seen. Um because I know Korra has its fans, and I'm planning on watching it once I finish Clone Wars. Um and so like I don't know, I like to give things the benefit of the doubt, and it seems like a perfectly fine show by what you've told me and what some of our other friend have told me. So
Yeah, I think it's good. I don't think it, I was a little bit upset with like a few things. I just feel like my biggest thing is that it just the characters, like it just doesn't know how to like I just don't feel any attachment to the characters like I did with the characters in the other show.
right, it's hard to do. I mean, that show has such a perfect ensemble cast, you know.
It's literally perfect. I have no other way to describe it. Every character is so good.
Yeah, so should we just talk about book two then?
Yeah, it's a good book too. So
I
yeah,
haven't rewatched it, but I did watch this pretty recently.
yeah, I watched it over the summer, so I remember like pretty much every episode. But I think what makes this season really good is like what I talked about. It's just it makes the characters so like the cast of characters is just so strong. And the thing about Avatar is I genuinely feel like out of all the main-ish characters, I think like the lowest I could rate any of them is like an 8 out of 10. Like they're just all
Hmm.
so good. Like I don't maybe like the Fire Lord is an 8 out of 10. But like besides that, like
I think
every other
the Fire Lord is honestly probably the character I take most issue with, simply because he's not like we get development of Sozin, but not Ozai really. Any development of Ozai is really development of Zuko, which is
that
fine.
is
Like
true.
I don't mind it, but he is the character I find to be the least like developed. Fucking cat, Jesus.
But he's just so sick. The Fire Lord is so sick. Like
He is
it's just
cool.
the
Yeah,
name
I know.
Fire Lord. That's so dope.
um, but yeah. So this is definitely my favorite season, and I think this show is lucky that it gets to be very similar in terms of structure to the original Star Wars trilogy, but done better. And what I mean by that is like, um, so actually, one second.
All right, so I'll describe something that I like about it. Something that's really great about this season that like I remember when I rewatched, I completely forgot about because there's so many like big things that you just miss. Is that um like Zuko and Iroh pretty much have a completely separate storyline to Aang and like his crew. Um, which is really cool because in the season before that, like they were literally being chased around and they were always like involved in some way. But then this season just takes a complete break from that. And I think there's like one or two episodes. I think the first or not the first, the last episode of the season and like one of the middle episodes, the chase, where they meet up. But besides that, they're like both crews of like Zuko and Iroh and Aang and his and the gang are
Mm-hmm.
just doing their separate things,
Yeah,
and it's it's really cool just
yeah.
to see how like yeah Michael just like sat down and just goes yeah it's really
Sorry, it was just like the animals in my house just went fucking sicko mode on
uh
me.
yeah. Anyways, I'm just mentioning how it's cool that like Zuko and Iroh function so independently of like Aang, and it's still like
Hmm.
it feels like it's the same show. It doesn't feel like they're doing two separate things because like at the end of the day, they're kind of following each other, and you can see that
Right,
they're always about to
they're on a
converge paths.
converging path. Yeah. Um. So what I was saying was, like structurally, the show is very similar to like the original Star Wars trilogy, but like the way it should be, which is like, um, so like you have the original Star Wars trilogy where you have the first movie and it's good, and then you have the second movie that expands on everything and does it better, and then you have the third movie that kind of falls flat. But this show doesn't fall flat in the third season, you know? And
Yeah.
this season, like structurally, I feel is really similar to Empire Strikes Back because, like, in Crossroads of Destiny, like the heroes lose and it's
Hmm.
left on a cliffhanger. And I feel like this season is so much more focused on like really developing Zuko and Aang and
Yeah.
Qatar, like everyone, obviously, and then it introduces Toph, which is like
Top
the
one of the
best.
best characters.
Yeah.
And something it's just I have so many good things to say about this show. It's and one of them is that like it is so incredibly evident from watching this or from even thinking about this that the writers like knew exactly where they wanted to go and how they wanted to
Yeah.
get there
Well, like I
from
said
like
this in the book
episode
one
one.
episode, but I said this in our book one episode, but they set up such a good plot with just like, okay, Aang has to beat or master all four elements and then defeat the Fire Lord by this date, and that's it. You know,
Hmm.
there's no, there's nothing after that. You know, that's just it. Um, and for the most, like they just get right. That's what they do, and
Yeah, they get right to it. And there's filler episodes, but it doesn't feel like they're actually filler
especially not in
episodes.
this season because like the only filler episodes I can really think of are like the
Avatar Day.
yeah, Avatar Day, which is pretty lame, but I was with the Cave of Two Lovers maybe. But even that is
Yeah. It's sort
developing
of.
Katara
I
and
really
Aang.
liked. I have a list up right now of my top 5 episodes from book 2.
Yeah, do it.
I have a whole thing, and number 5's Cave of Two Lovers. 4 is Crossroads of Destiny. 3 Zuko Alone. 2 Appa's Lost Days, and number 1 Tales of Ba Sing Se, which is the one that everybody always says that they're number 1, but it's like it is such a good episode, and
Not me.
it
Crossroads
just
of Destiny is my number one.
yeah, it's true. But I have it was really hard for this one because I can honestly feel any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I also have like Blind Bandit, The Chase,
The
Library, Up.
library.
Yeah, those are all just great episodes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, but yeah, what I was talking about before was that like it's the first episode of the season is called the Avatar State, and the season literally ends with Aang, and like the whole thing is about like what the Avatar State is, and like the notion that if you die in the Avatar State, the Avatar cycle's fucking gone, and then the
Yeah.
season literally ends with Aang being struck by lightning
In the
in the
Avatar
Avatar
state.
State
Yeah.
and being like brought back to life by the spirit water.
Which is also, I think, my favorite thing about how this season ends is that, um, especially if you're watching this show for the first time, but like even when you watch it for the second, third, fourth, whatever time, is that like you're so rooting for Zuko to like make the right decision at
Mm-hmm.
in the Crossroads of Destiny, and he just doesn't, and it is just like it is so like when you see the fire hit the ground and you're like, oh, and then like he shoots it at Aang and you're like, fuck, you know. and
And then
and
just like the saddest moment of the, well, not the saddest, but one of the saddest, where like Zuko looks at Iroh and he just like he
he's
turns his
so
head away from him,
disappointed.
and you're just
Hmm.
like, oh, it hurts so much because
Right.
Iroh's probably my favorite character of the whole
Yeah.
show.
I think Zuko's mine, if not maybe top, but and it's just it's Jesus. My fucking cat. I don't know what it is. The animals are just going crazy today.
The farmhouse.
I've literally never been interrupted during the freaking podcast, but my cat, both my dogs, and just
Want to
like
talk about
everyone I've ever
Avatar?
known is fucking texting me. Yeah, I just want to talk about fucking Avatar. Anyway, um, but it's really well set up. Like it's not. I feel like so many redemption arcs, Kylo Ren, are just like out of fucking nowhere and make no sense.
Yeah.
Like, and this movie just this show sets it up from the very beginning, and there's just so many parts, especially in this season, like Zuko alone, and
You can
then
see, yeah, you can see the conflict within Zuko from like the storm. That's when you can see it in him, or even you could say you'd see it in him from like one of the first episodes when Iroh's introduced, because you can tell that like Iroh really doesn't care about Zuko catching the Avatar. He wants Zuko. You can tell from the beginning he wants Zuko to find his own path. So it's like I don't know. They just it's exactly what he said. They set it up so well.
yeah, and I think one of my favorite parts. I don't know what episode it's called. Is it Lake Lao Guy or is it a different one? But I think it's Lake Lao Guy where Zuko's like about
Rejectize.
to. No, not Rich Jet. I don't give a shit about that guy. When Zuko's about to free Appa, and
Oh yeah.
he's like, oh, I could steal the Avatar's bison, and Iroh's like, and then what? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you gonna do with this thing? But and so like realistically, it's like an actual like really emotional confrontation between them, where Iroh's like, you don't think anything through. That's why you would have fucking died in the snow if Team Avatar didn't fucking save your life, and um there's just so much of that like throughout the whole season, specifically with Zuko, but really with all of them. Just like you know, and like there's a whole part, like Appa's gone for a good chunk of the season.
Literally since like the library
He's
to he's gone for like 7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, and and I've always like that. That was one of the like oldest memories I have of Avatar is the library episode where
That's all I
Toph's
will share.
be
I
like
will share
forced
it.
to hold up the library while Appa's just being taken away, and there's like nothing she can do. But then Aang is like still pissed at her, and you're like, you can't really fault either of them. It's just so good.
Yeah, I actually have a specific memory of that too, because that is also one of the episodes that I have a very like I remember from a while ago. I remember Had to be when I was, I don't know, very young. But I remember I was playing with this weird game, and there was like these tiny little metallic balls, um, and I was like fucking around with them. And for some reason or another, I was like upset with my mom, and so my kid brain thought it was a good idea to like put the ball in my mouth, and because I was angry. And then she was just doing her own thing. She didn't care. And I remember that the library was on in the background, and then I swallowed the little ball, and I was
You
just like, "Oh,
did?
oh no!" And then I have no idea what happened.
You don't
It
know what
probably came out of my,
happened?
it probably came out of my poop.
You didn't go to the hospital?
I mean, I'm fine.
You didn't tell your mom?
I didn't tell anybody.
Why have you never told me that before? That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So hopefully I don't die. I mean, I'm
Bro.
probably fine. Probably. Maybe I'll get cancer.
Fucking
Uh,
one day, dude. It's gonna happen when you're like 45. You're gonna poop that little ball out. That's
but yeah, I
funny.
remember the library was on in the background, so that's why I remember it.
Different reason for mine, but mine was like the sheer impact of the show, and yours is because you swallowed a ball.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, but anyway, I and then there's episodes like Tales of Ba Sing Se, which are like they're doing new things with the show, which is
it was such
always
a new
fun to
format, and it was
see.
so cool.
Yeah, and obviously everyone talks about like the tale of Iroh, but the tale of Zuko I think is super underrated.
Oh
Him
yeah,
just
him and like the
going on the
girl.
date with that girl.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, you saw like you saw a side of Zuko that you just like didn't see before, where he
mhm.
like told her to close her eyes, and then he lit up all the candles,
But it's
and then
totally
like
realistic.
she almost kisses him, and then he runs away.
um, yeah, no, exactly. It's a great episode. I mean, it's sad, but
Yeah,
not
it's
as sad
very
as
sad.
Appa's Lost is, maybe. But
Yeah,
that's more so sad because it's really hard to watch.
yeah. When you see like Appa and all his little bison friends playing, and then like he starts chomping the rail that he remembers chomping on as like a baby bison, and then
Oh
he starts like
yeah,
yakking because it's
I
like disgusting. Um,
love Appa. Appa's a
but
great
yeah,
like pet character.
literally. Yeah, this season it's a great season. It like expands upon the world so much and in such a meaningful way, and like the plot doesn't feel slow, even though it kind of is slow in the grand scheme of things. Like he all that really happens in this
Cats.
season.
Oh,
What?
my fucking cat won't stop. Sorry, keep
um,
going.
I was gonna say all that really happens in this season is that Aang learns to earthbend and finds a new earthbending teacher, and Zuko has a crisis, and Aang almost dies, and like that's that's pretty much all that happens this season.
I love how like
But
fucking
it doesn't miss a beat.
yeah, I love how freeing Appa gives Zuko like I'm gonna fucking die disease, and he has like an intense stomach ache for the next like 24 hours.
That was great. And then he wakes up and he's like making tea, and he's just like so happy, and you're like, oh, he's being nice to his uncle finally. And then he decides to fucking, I don't know, be a jerk. It was too bad, but it set up such a great redemption arc, an even better one, honestly.
Hmm. I love the chase too. Just seeing them like it's such a cool moment when they all
They're
shoot
all,
their elements at Azula,
mhm.
including Zuko, and then but like obviously they're not like actually working together yet. I love shit like that. What do I not
Yeah, there's
remember
some
this?
really great moments. Like, I think it's bitter work because it's just each episode. This is why I really like
I
the
like bitter work
structure,
too.
the structure of Avatar as opposed to Korra, because like I can read an episode and I'd be like, oh, I remember what that was about. Because bitter work, it's bitter work because like that was when Aang learned to earthbend. Sokka was stuck in that thing and he was trying to get out,
Yep.
and
And
then
Zuko
Zuko
was
was
trying to
just trying to
lightning bend.
he's trying to redirect lightning, and it was just like such a good you know, such a good title for like just simple title for like what they were literally doing.
Yeah,
Um,
and I
and
also like how Aang actually like really struggles with earthbending because it's the natural opposite.
mhm.
Which is
And then it's really cool to see because at the end there's that. I think this is one of the coolest moments of the show. I think it's the episode "The Earth King," where after they find Appa and Aang is like pissed and he goes to the Earth King and they're like trying to enter the palace, but like they're being stopped by like the Dai Li or the Earthbenders, and
mm-hmm.
somebody sends a rock up to Appa, like right up, and it gets like almost in the face of Aang, but then he literally just like sticks his hand out, and then the rock just explodes. And it was like the most badass scene that like
It
the show
was
has
pretty
ever had.
badass. Yeah, and then even like the whole concept behind Bossing Say, like the secret society and stuff, like um, it's like stuff you're not expecting to see in the show because like it could
Mm-hmm.
easily be like, oh, the Earth King's just like, yeah, a normal guy, but and he's gonna help them fight the Fire Lord, but like no, instead it's like this whole thing of like the king is a fucking idiot with a bear
Yeah,
um and like there's this whole secret society and shit. And
they
it's
add such meaningful depth to like every single area. It's kind of crazy.
mm-hmm.
I don't know how they did it. Like it's literally inexplicable. It's kind of just magical, honestly. But like
Oh my god, dude! I'm just
every
reading.
part
I
of this season is just like perfect in each
It
way.
really
It's
is.
amazing.
I'm reading like plot synopsis now, and I'm like, yeah, this shit is so similar to Empire Strikes Back. Like, no, I'm not saying like copying Empire Strikes Back. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying like plot wise. Like, I forgot about like the Guru, like fucking Aang leaving the Guru before he unlocks like his last chakra or whatever. It's literally like Luke
yeah.
leaving
Literally
Yoda
Yoda.
before he's done with his Jedi training. It's like, that shit is so fucking effective, dude. And then because he leaves, like he fucking gets shot with lightning,
Yeah, he literally dies.
and the fact that if like they didn't get there when they did, like Katara would have healed Zuko, and then like Aang might not have lived, or Katara would have healed Zuko, and maybe he would have actually fought with them. You
Hmm.
know, like so much to think
Yeah,
about,
that
like
is that
what
is
would have
actually a thing.
happened.
About like what if like Zuko just showed up and like to Azula and she's just like, wait, where the fuck is your scar? Uh,
And then it also helps that Zuko like doesn't have a fucking ponytail anymore.
yeah, no, Zuko looked like such a um prissy little bitch with his ponytail. He's definitely more Chad like with the short hair, and then he
He's a
becomes
huge Chad. Oh yeah,
Ultra Trad,
way too
sexy Chad,
Chad.
in season 3.
Yeah, this this season is just like it's I don't know because like book three I feel like is more consistently like banger, but it also has a slower start, and it's
It
really
does
the
have a pretty slow start, but
but the second
there's some,
half of season three is just like godly, you
and
know.
also like I will say the the ending of the show is just perfect. It is so like unbelievably perfect how they ended the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I'm looking at my season 3 episodes, and like literally 1, 2, and 3 are just Silver's Comet. Um, it's just like it's just such a good culmination of everything that the show
It
was,
is.
and it knew how to wrap it up, not like with the best little bow ever. That was
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird to say.
I really
But
yeah, you said that weird. I thought you were saying like they didn't wrap it up with the
no,
best
they
boat
wrapped it
ever.
up perfectly, is what I
Yeah, I
meant.
got you. I get you. I would love for them to release Sozin's Comet. It's part one through four, just like in theaters with like
Oh my
surround
god,
sound and shit. Like that would be so fun to like go and like with the boys and be like,
dude, I don't know if
when he
I'd want to
grabs
go with
his
the
beard and
boys.
shit, and we'd be like, ah,
Yeah,
it'd be so lit.
I don't know if I don't know if I want to go with the boys. I'd probably cry when Zuko and Iroh hug each
So,
other.
bro, we'd all cry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
um, yeah.
But yeah,
Overall, the
anyways, season 2 is unbelievable Mega Chad is that's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
use to describe it.
hmm Um, like the introducing Toph and the fact that they're like, you know, heading towards redemption with Zuko, but then they don't, they make him make the wrong decision first before he actually gets redeemed is like it enhances it so fucking
It
much.
makes when he actually, because the funny thing is when he actually redeems himself and when he finds out that like, you know what, I'm gonna be a good guy, he doesn't immediately get accepted. It kind of like falls flat on his face.
Yeah. Right. But if
So
he
it
had
makes
done
his,
it there, it would have,
yeah,
probably been accepted better.
it was just really, it was the redemption arc is so good, and maybe we'll talk about that. We definitely will talk about that when we
Yeah, I
do
mean, I think
book three.
the biggest problem with this season is not even a
It's too
problem.
short.
No, it's just that this is so like Zuko's show at this point. It's so like it's all about Zuko and I don't know.
Really?
That's the
I just
interesting shit.
And oh yeah, in season two, I would agree. Like Zuko and Iroh, it just like focuses on them so much,
But it's so like
and
I think what I mean is like it's so um like it's all about like what Zuko's because we know where Aang's headed. Like he's struggling with earthbending and stuff, yeah, and obviously like losing Appa was like his big struggle this season, but like really where your like tension is in that finale is with where Zuko is gonna, you know, where his allegiances are gonna end up. And I mean Aang getting shot in the spine is pretty fucking shocking, but like no pun intended. But I just think this show is so like I don't know. I just don't know if it'd be the same without Zuko, which again isn't a
it definitely
criticism
would.
because it has Zuko.
Yeah, it's like I actually know what you mean. I think that the quality of the show would, or this season, would dip definitely a ton if it wasn't for Zuko.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the same time, that's
But
also
then you
like
have
saying,
Toph too, so like even
yeah,
just
like
that
also
is
this season's so good because it like they incorporate a new character. And a lot of the times in shows, when they incorporate like a new character into the main cast, it doesn't usually like work out all that well, and they kind of feel like an
mm-hmm.
outsider. But Toph just fits right in. It's like
Yeah,
literally like,
and she's blind,
yes, this
which is
this bitch is
cool.
blonde, and she
That's
and she just like it's
another thing. So I've been rewatching Daredevil with my girlfriend, and we've been like commenting on how like it's so nice that the show never like forgets that he's blind. And then we were like, oh yeah, Avatar's like totally the same way. Like they never forget that Toph is like blind and can't see. So
mhm.
like if characters are like looking at a piece of paper, like she's never like, really looking at it or like, there'll just be like clips where like everyone looks one way and Toph doesn't look the right way or something. I just appreciate that because it's like it's easy to make a character blind and then also have them just be like super cool because like their senses are attuned.
Mhm.
But like, no, she like can't see, but she's like fucking badass as shit and probably like the best Earthbender in the
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah, I forget. There was that season when she learns to metal, or the episode when she learns to metal
Oh
bend,
my
and
god, bro!
she's literally like, "I am the best earthbender in the world. Don't you ever fucking forget it." And it was such a
I know
because
she
Toph
didn't
is
say
so
the F word, but like I
she
feel like she
like
would have, if it
yeah.
wasn't a kids show.
If it wasn't a Nickelodeon, she absolutely would have pulled the F word right there.
Like her inventing metal bending, that is another moment in the show that is just fucking god tier.
Yeah,
Which
like
is
literally,
and you see
I
like the
can't
sound
remember.
waves and like,
I
oh.
can't remember when I saw that as a kid, but I imagine my mind was like fucking blown. I was like, she can fucking bend metal. That's sick.
Ugh,
Oh, yeah, this show's great.
it's it's so fucking cool. And you know what
It's
else I like
literally.
about the show is like so Katara starts out, she sucks at waterbending, but she ends up being like probably one of the best waterbenders in the show, and she's
Mhm.
teaching Aang. And then Toph is like the best earthbender in the world, and she's like teaching Aang. But Zuko is like not even near the best firebender, but
No, he
he's
kind of
teaching it.
he doesn't suck, but he's
He
like
doesn't suck, but he's
because he get at the
like
end of the show he's better than Azula slightly.
he's better than his what?
He's better than Azula, but that's partly because Azula was like off her game. in
Yeah,
that fight.
because Azula went fucking crazy. That's the only way he could beat her, and with Katara's
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
Um, but I like that. I like when a character isn't like super skilled. You know, it makes it way more interesting. But um, Iroh, Azula, Ozai, like they're all better than him. You know, even
Hmm.
like other just like random master whatever his face and
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. The guy in season one. I forgot what
yeah,
the episode was
and
called. It
he's in
was
the
like
White
the
Lotus,
yeah, 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 that guy.
which is oh wait, that's
Something.
season 3.
What was it called? The Deserter. That's the episode. I don't remember what his name was. That's
I
something.
don't know. But yeah, so this show's definitely a Chad
Yeah,
easily.
it's pretty fucking great. Um, I wish. Oh my god, if so, I'm like currently debating between consoles right now. I'm kind of leaning towards the Series X, but like honestly, if either Microsoft or Sony announced they were
Making
releasing
an
like an
Avatar game.
open world Avatar game, I wouldn't even think twice. Not even twice. I would immediately get the one where they release this game.
Dude, if not like a big developer making a game like that, fucking Lego, get on it, dude. A fucking
Literally.
Lego Avatar game would be so dope.
Dude, imagine just if like a big developer made like an open world Avatar game or
I
even just
know.
like a recreation of this. It would
Mm-hmm.
be so sick. Like I know there are
And you
those Avatar
could have like
games.
online multiplayer where like you're all on different nations and you fight. Yeah, it'd be so sick.
Yeah, oh,
You could
this
like
show is
reenact like
sick.
the whole like wars of like the very beginning,
Hmm.
like the battles between the original air nomads and the Fire Nation when they first took over. It'd be so sick.
Yeah, and one of the weird things about the Avatar universe is like I always get sad because I feel like, oh, I wish there was like more stuff that was added. But there is. There's like still stuff that's coming out from the
Oh yeah,
show.
comics and
Yeah,
Korra
comics.
and
But I guess I just wish like I I hope that like with how Avatar has been like
hi audience. My AirPods just died, so you're gonna have to deal with the echoing of Tommy's voice for a hot minute while we finish the episode.
yeah. Yeah, so I was just like kind of rambling really weirdly for like the past like minute, so I want to cut that out. But anyways, I was just saying there's a lot more to the Avatar universe that I'd like to see. And it's such a cool concept of just like bending elements and stuff like that that I would love for just like more stuff to come out, more TV shows, um, more comic books, more whatever. I just want to like I want to fully immerse myself in this because it's generally one of like the coolest franchises and things I've like ever like been
Yeah, I
interested
mean,
in.
if we can get like endless Star Wars shit and endless Harry Potter shit and endless Marvel shit, all those universes are just about as interesting, if not less interesting than,
Yeah. I would
maybe
just
not
hope
less
that
interesting, but like, I think there's definitely room for like a level of like expansion on that universe.
yeah, I would just hope that if they do decide to expand the Avatar universe, it upholds quality because that just feels like the formula with a lot of these things. Like if they decide to expand the universe and do more stuff and more movies, it just really dampens down the quality of whatever they're releasing because they're not really focused on actually making something worthwhile. They're focused on making something that you know makes money. But I don't think that'll happen with Avatar. Even though I didn't like Korra all that much, I could tell that they had like a vision with it and they stuck to it, which is why I still respect Korra.
Yeah, I mean,
It
that's
doesn't
why
feel like they
I
were just making a show for because they were like, oh, we need a show and we're just gonna release this.
well, that's why I fucking like there are franchises that do it well, like Marvel, which, tends to expand on things that need expanding on. And then there's franchises that don't do it well, like fucking Harry Potter, where it's like you have the 8 movies and then you have these shitty ass Fantastic Beast movies that they're shitting out and they're just bad and they contradict the original series. And it's like, you know, I don't want to see that shit. I want to see you know, um, I want to see new places and new time periods. Like I don't want if there's expansion on Avatar, I don't want it to be like the Iroh prequel.
Oh, that's really sad because I was literally gonna say I'd like to see a prequel with with Iroh.
Well, it depends
I
how
could
it's done.
exactly. It definitely depends how it's done. Like, I don't know. I feel like it'll be hard because they would still need a big cast of characters, and I feel like Iroh functions so well just as like a support character. But I would like to see a little more on Iroh. But
Yeah, I see that. I mean,
but they did a Kyoshi. They did a comic book on Kyoshi.
yeah, I saw that. Um, anything you've been watching, Tommy? I'll start because we gotta wrap up soon because all my
Yeah, you
shit's about
start.
to die. But uh, I don't think I've watched that much. I've been watching Clone Wars, like I said. Watched The Last Jedi. Made a big review. Tommy left a mean comment. Um, and I watched Knives Out today. Um, again. Because I bought the Blu-ray. Uh, but besides that, I don't think I really watched. Oh, I watched Seven,
It's
David
that Brad
Fincher
Pitt one,
movie.
right?
hmm Um, which was definitely not my favorite Fincher movie, but it was pretty good. So yeah, I mean, that's that's everything. Tommy, I know, I'm sorry, but I like The Last Jedi a little bit more this time. It would really be like 3 and 3/4 stars. It would not be 4, but like that doesn't exist. So
Yeah, it's
that's what
fair.
you got.
Um, I finished watching Korra. I actually I watched with my family the first episodes of Space Force. First episode like wasn't all that funny. It was okay. Second episode was actually like kind of funny. Like there's this like the space station is like broken and they have to fix it. And Steve Carell decides the best way to fix it is sending out. There's like another like like rocket in there, and it has a chimp and a dog in it because like they needed whatever to make the public be happy. And then Steve Carell decides that like they need to send the chimp out to fix the space station. But then when they like get in there, they realize that the chimp ate the dog. And then like the chimp tries to fix the space station with like a drill, but because of gravity, like the drill starts like spinning really fast, and the chimp then flies off into space to die. And it's just like the most absurd thing. And then the chimp gets like captured by the Chinese like space station. It was just so like absurd and ridiculous that it was actually like pretty funny. Um, but besides that, I haven't been watching much. I'm like almost done with all my schoolwork for the semester. So after that, I'm gonna try to watch a ton of 2020 movies so that I can like have a definitive list. And then we'll towards the end of the year, then we'll have a yearly wrap up of our highs and lows. And yeah,
Yeah, 2020 best and worst kind of thing.
hmm
But you don't have any lists on Letterboxd. You should make some.
I I thought I had one list. I might have one.
I don't
I
think
don't
you have
know.
any.
Okay. Yo, I was gonna make a Star Wars list, but I need to rewatch Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh,
Hopefully you stuck around.
yeah. Follow us on shit. Pooping us. Do all that.
Yep.
We'll see you on
Yeah.
the floppity flip.
Yeah, thanks guys.